Welcome back to UnpaidMovieCritics.com. I'm joined by the effervescent, multicolored, and patriotic Miss Becky Fixel, the woman who says, "Yeah, I'm gonna go down a nightmare alley."
Oh yes, the movie that you saw this week and you really liked.
Did I like it?
I don't know. Did you like it?
I don't know. I can't decide.
Okay, so that'll be part of our discussion today. And
Well, yeah, and to sum up, not to cut you off, which I just did.
that you do all the time.
I would just like to mention I am extremely blonde, and I'm probably a little hyper. So right now, no one knows what's happening. My brain is in thousand pieces, and the phone is going to ring. So I know it's going to happen.
Why is your phone gonna ring?
Because people can't get enough of me. It's crazy.
Oh Lord.
That's what I said.
So this is the episode that almost didn't happen. Because
Yeah,
I was about ready.
True.
I'm just like, we'll just talk next Friday. Cool.
For both of you listening, it literally didn't almost happen. And I was just like, oh, it was supposed to happen 4 days. I keep forgetting. And then I said, hey, let's just do it in 15 minutes. And then I forgot again.
Yeah.
That's where my brain is. So
how are you that blonde? You don't dye your hair. I'm the one that dyes my hair.
I know. It's really crazy. And I feel like there's gray popping up. It's a whole thing.
But you're not a natural blonde.
Not naturally. Or normally. Like normally I'm pretty with it. But it's just like I feel so scattered. It's just crazy.
Well, the holiday season, and like we had just discussed, things are picking up there because you're actually able to do events somewhat.
Yeah, I did an event for Ted Lasso on Saturday. And I did an event, Nightmare Alley on Wednesday with Guillermo del Toro. And then I did Nightmare Alley on Wednesday with Guillermo del Toro. And then I did Ted Lasso on Saturday. There was something else in between there. I know
you did Tick Tick Boom on Saturday.
Tick Tick Boom was Sunday, but I didn't see it. I just stalked. And then
it's on Netflix. You haven't seen it yet?
No, I haven't watched the movie yet. I have a signed poster, but I haven't watched the movie yet.
I've got one of the sweatshirts from the diner.
I want it.
No. So did you?
No one loves me.
Oh, really? What did I already send you?
You sent me a coffee cup from Wes Anderson's French Dispatch, which I still haven't seen. And I got a journal, and I got some pencils, and I got some stuff from Eyes of Tammy Faye. Ironically, that's what I got Andrew Garfield to sign. Not your swag, like Jessica Chastain to sign that. But I did get him on a Eyes of Tammy Faye poster, as well as Tick Tick Boom.
Okay, good. You do have to watch Tick Tick Boom. It's really good, especially if you like musicals. It's really good.
Yeah, I want to see it. Lin-Manuel Miranda signed my poster, and so did Andrew.
Nice.
So it's nice. It was a good little fun. It just took 2 seconds. That's LA, Let's go. Okay, 20 minutes later, here they are, signed. Thanks, bye, gone.
And then an hour in traffic home.
Yeah, then I had to stop by Target to get my Schitt's Creek special edition Emerald Comic-Con Funko Pop from Alexis Rose. So shit's going down, man.
All these special things going on. Yeah, but you didn't tell your sister about what's happening Wednesday, did you?
What's Wednesday?
So it'll be happening after this airs. So if anybody is near Toledo, Ohio, there is going to be a new Sex in the City. What is that? And Just Like That. That's what it's called. The name doesn't stick for me. I don't know why. I
don't like it either, honestly. And I enjoyed the show. I didn't think it was as bad as everyone is making it out to be.
It's a lot slower. I think it has the pacing of the original show, which doesn't translate well for current.
Okay, wasn't the original show a half hour?
20 odd minutes. Yeah.
And this is 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's why it feels slower. And because they stretched out an episode of 45 minutes as opposed to a half an hour.
Right.
And I think that doesn't do it any favors.
No. And I mean, I'm not going to say the spoiler, but a bunch.
Well, everyone knows. I mean, come on.
Somebody actually posted it that afternoon, like the day it dropped.
Yeah.
I was like,
I knew.
And she's like, okay, but it's only half a spoiler. And I'm like, I don't care. I've unfriended people for less. Like when somebody in college posted, oh my God, I can't believe they killed Rita on Dexter. She was gone. I was so mad because I was like, you have to let people experience things. But I mean, that one's blown up. So at this point, everybody knows. And,
Yeah.
but I wasn't sad when that happened because that was a toxic, horrible relationship. Like her relationship with him through the original series, he was an ass.
He was an ass, and so was she.
I'm supposed to, okay, yes, they finally got their happy ending and he died. Okay, that sucks. It sucks, but
Well, I
you
was in a
can't
couple
fix that
different
kind of
ways.
guy.
No, and a couple of different things. One, in the second, what happened? During the show, she cheated on him with Aiden, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
she cheated on him. He cheated on her. Then he left his wife
He
for her
smacks her.
again. And it was just like, it was really a very toxic relationship. And they finally get together, and it seemed like it was healthy. He leaves her at the altar, first off. I mean,
Yes.
which didn't make any sense because she had a bird in her hair or something. And then and then she gets together, and then she goes to Abu Dhabi, and then she almost cheats on him with Aiden. Again, I was like, I just feels like the writers don't know what to do with their relationship once they're together.
And I think that was why it had to happen, for the show to continue and her to have a story, because otherwise she's going to be, she's going to be backed into the corner as the old married woman who's having normal straight sex on the podcast. That's what her character would be, and that's not updating the show at all. But
no.
So Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. at Hamburger Mary's in Toledo, there is an event for And Just Like That. So there will be the actors there, portrayed by drag queens. That's will hilarious. Be bingo. I think there's signature cocktails, giveaways, and a bunch of other stuff.
Well, if there's anything to grab, please take anything that has the logo on it for Mike.
Well, like I said, he could tell his sister, but I don't think you want me to meet your sister, because then I would get like dirt on you. So
I honestly, she would tell you anything I would. There is no, my sister is my bestie. Like,
and she'll spill everything about you.
No, she's just my other half. Like, it's a really fun. I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful. Because there's a huge age difference. I mean, she's so much older than me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm sure that's it. She's the one with memory problems.
I know. No, but there really is. Like, it's like my mom, like my sister got half my mom's personality and half my dad, and I got the opposite half of my mom and opposite half of my dad, and we all mesh together so well because we're so different and yet so alike. And it's like I know what she's gonna do before she does it. She knows what I'm gonna do, and she knows what I need to hear. You know what I mean? Like, we really are very symbiotic. I know when she wants to be left alone. I know when she wants to talk, and I know it's like, okay, cool. If she's in a pissy mood, I'll just wait, and then she'll be like, hey. I'm like, hey, and then it's like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's the reverse. Like, I don't. Even growing up, we would fight like brother and sister, but at the same time, well, yeah, but I mean, but we wouldn't. It was very, I don't think we've ever really been mad. She's
well, that's what siblings do.
She's super cool. She's taken sarcasm to a different level, what I've taught her. And so then it was funny when I was a kid, it would be my mom be like, go talk to your sister. I'm like, didn't you? And she's like, yes, but she won't listen to me. She'll listen to you. So then I'd go and I would talk to her, and she'd be like, but I go, I've done it before. I go, I don't care if you do it, you're going to get burned. If you want to play with the fire, go play with the fire. But then she'd be like, oh yeah, it's true. You know what I mean? Like, because she knew I'm not
and it still makes me laugh, like when we were at Warner Brothers and you got off the phone and then you just whipped out the big brother voice, just like you were yelling at her when you yelled at me. And I was like, dude, that's rough. But it was so natural for you.
It's like it is. It's like I tend to be everyone's big brother in some level, I think.
But it also helps we share a name. So
exactly. Becky.
Right. So I was like,
Rebecca, Becca, all of it down the line.
Except I'm not a Rebecca, so
she's a Becca.
But she's legally Rebecca though, right?
She's legally Rebecca, yeah.
Yeah, so she's already got that on me.
I mean, she's also legally shit ass too, but I don't know if I put that on her birth certificate.
I don't think that's on her birth certificate or license.
Yeah, but no, it's trust me, she's been called that probably more than Becca.
Probably because that's the kind of brother you are.
It really is. But yes, I enjoy it. I actually know. I mean, you know, I like that we're segueing into TV a lot too. But
Well, movies are slowing down a little for the holidays. I mean, they'll
yeah,
pick up again. Like I think the next, I mean, Spider-Man is coming and Matrix, and then I think the next big one after that is Scream.
yeah, I can't wait for Matrix and Scream. I think that they look really good. The new Matrix trailer when it dropped, I was just like drooling. I'm like, oh my god, it's so good.
I'll text you
So I'm
next week
really
and let you
excited.
know how it is.
Are you going to see it?
On
If
the
they give you anything duplicate, because I know your other half will want it, but if
yeah,
anything duplicate,
I will let you
I'm not
know.
above sexual favors for free for swag on that movie.
Yeah,
Um,
but it doesn't work that way.
I know, right? It's really uninspired.
It's not
But
gonna work for either of us.
but you know, my love of Keanu notwithstanding, because I love my John Wick and Keanu, but the Matrix movies in general, I've always really the first one is a classic. The you know, the sequels aren't as good, but I feel like, and I'm really hoping, because I really enjoyed Sense8 so much, and I really hope that Lana kind of got her groove a little bit there. And I think maybe
Right.
just her doing it is going to be really good. Like I think she's finding that groove, because Cloud Atlas was awful, and there was the other one where Channing Tatum was a dog boy or something, and you know it was just really bad. But I'm hoping that they got this together, because when I saw Jonathan Groff in this version of the trailer, I was like, done. Oh yes, take my money. Here's my wallet. What can I get at the theater? Is there going to
Right.
be a popcorn bucket I have to go buy? Like, what do I have to do?
So start dedicating a shelf down in the garage just for your new
Matrix.
Keanu goodies.
I already have one. I have
You have a whole Keanu shelf?
a sort of. I have a cereal box from the Bill and Ted cereal
Okay.
signed by Keanu and Alex Winter, and then I have a Constantine. It's a matchbook, because in the thing he has the cricket, and so it's a replica of that. And then I do have someone supposed to give me something from John Wick that I'm talking to right now, so I'm waiting for that to come.
Somebody that
And
you're
then
talking to about it, because I know there's something on my shelf that's not heading to LA. So
in the will, I think that's what I should get.
but I know you're just gonna put it on your Viking funeral pyre and burn it. So why would I do that?
Well, because my collection needs to be complete.
Well, I told
Uh,
you where you could get one. Did you order that French dispatch thing I sent you?
no,
Why not?
because I don't like to pay money for swag unless it's really like I need it. And there's
But
a
it
couple.
went
I mean, there's things I buy. Don't get me wrong. Like Scott's always like, "What are you doing?" But like I almost bought a kindergarten cop whistle. Hand to God, I almost bought it, and I'm like, I'm not spending $10 on a kindergarten cop whistle.
no.
Um, but I didn't buy the French Dispatch only because I really want to see the movie first. I'm going to make sure
Okay.
it's going to be in line with the other Wes Anderson films.
Well,
But
I was thinking it would help complete your collection that, was shipped to you from Detroit.
it really would. I mean, it's really actually as a fun little. I put a fun little display together until Scott can go and make because that's what he does. He does everything really nice. So until he actually does it, um, mine will suffice for the moment.
Yours will work for now.
Yeah, it's true. But I have that from Keanu, and there was a couple other things I had. I did have a T-shirt from John Wick 2, but you can't really put T-shirts on display. But there was something else. I had the cereal box is I think the most fun thing. There was a picture frame from Bill and Ted that I think I have somewhere. I have a counter stand from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, but that's not signed.
See, and I was really hoping, like the last Bill and Ted, I mean, we know those movies aren't like mental genius movies. We know that.
No, yeah. I
But
mean,
we were hoping when that one came out that we were like, okay, let's see where they take this. And it was kind of a wah, wah, wah.
yeah,
So
I thought it was fine. I thought it was a solid B minus,
yeah, it's
which
not a
isn't
super
solid at
great
all.
movie, but it was okay. I,
Yeah, I
I'm just hoping Matrix does a little better than that.
me 100%. I really do think it will. I think that if they're going to do another 3 movies out of it, and I think they're really going to give Carrie Ann Moss a lot to do. It looks judging from that trailer where she's like
Right.
this and he's like, oh, it's your time or something, I was like, oh, is Carrie Ann Moss the new Neo or something along those lines?
She might
That was
be.
kind of my thought. I'll tell you, Carrie Ann Moss in the original Matrix trilogy, the combination of the two of them really made those movies.
Right.
And she was just badass. I mean, you watch that opening sequence in Matrix where she's there in the thing and she goes, and you're just, I remember seeing it for the first time before bullet time became a joke.
Right.
And it
It was
was
amazing
like,
at the time.
you're
Right.
just blown away. You're like, oh my God, like, what am I watching? This was
It was
so,
cutting
it
edge at
was
the
so,
time.
and her in that pleather, the shiny pleather, and her look, because she wasn't, it was just, her look is so perfect
Hmm.
because it's not, she's non-traditional in a lot of ways, but she's gorgeous and she's perfect for this part. Badass, kick ass. And I love the fact that Keanu and Carrie Ann Moss are still there. They're older and they still look like they're kicking ass. I mean,
Right.
Keanu, fine, but I love the fact that Carrie Ann Moss looks like she's going to kick some ass again.
Right.
And I love it. And I love the fact that she's older and they're letting her age and not like pull her face in weird contorted
Right. Well, I mean,
Kristen
I think
Davis.
that some of the characters are bringing back and they're de-aging and stuff. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what they do with that.
Well, yeah, 'cause I know Jada Pinkett's in it, but how
Yep.
can her character be in it? I was kind of confused, but I'm interested to see it. I really am. I'm really excited for that one. There's really not much I really care about seeing, which is kind of sad. I look at these movies that are up for Best Picture, and I was like, there's nothing I really give a shit
Right.
about, and that's really insane. I mean,
Especially this year, we had more movies come out than usual because of all the ones that were held back.
yeah, and why it seems like it's a shit year. I mean, Eyes of Tammy Faye, I really enjoyed.
Yep.
Granted, I really want to see Belfast. I haven't seen it yet, but it feels like, at least in LA, I'm just saying, we're not getting a lot of screenings yet. They had
Right.
a whole, it's like they get a surge. Like one week will be screening after screening after screening, and then it dies. This
And
week
you're
we're
getting
getting
way
a
too close
Denzel
to the
Washington.
holidays.
Yeah, and this week we're getting a Denzel Washington movie. I was invited to a reception with him on Thursday.
Macbeth.
I'm not sure I'm going. Yeah,
I mean, it's Macbeth. You know the
yeah. I
story,
don't really want to sit there and watch Macbeth again. I was in it. I don't need to see it.
right? Same.
Uh,
So, it's one of
yeah.
those that, and I mean, it's shot interestingly, but it's all black and white, but it's
Oh,
yeah, and it's square. Um, so it's super artistic and it's almost like the
yeah.
sets are like you're on stage, which is not necessarily a bad thing because it's a play, but I don't know. We saw it when
Yeah.
we were in London. We saw it at the Globe. That was our last night in London. So
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, if I'm going to see Macbeth, I'd rather see it in a theater, not a movie theater.
Yeah. I
So,
get it. It makes
I mean, he's
sense.
a great actor. Don't get me
Okay,
wrong.
so let's change. I really want to talk about Nightmare Alley before we get too down the rabbit hole
Okay, because
because
we still
I
have to
saw
talk about these
this.
Hughes movies that we watched 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we'll see if we get there. Let's see. I really do though. I saw Nightmare Alley on Wednesday, right? I know you had seen it.
Yes.
And it's
Oh, yes.
Guillermo del Toro, and I say that with a weird accent because I just love saying his name, Guillermo del Toro. It's so fun. And I love Guillermo as a human. I can listen to him, his Q and A's. If you've never seen a Q and A that Guillermo del Toro, that he's done, I highly suggest researching and going on YouTube, seeing some clips. The man is amazing to listen to. Like
Mhm.
his knowledge of film is insane. But I do feel like some of his films, I don't know, they just always are like right under missing the mark. Like it's like Crimson Peak, ugh, I couldn't take. I mean, I liked Shape of Water a lot. Pan's
Right.
Labyrinth, great. But then it's like both Hellboy movies. I was so excited for both of them, and neither one of them did it for me at all. I know people love them, but for me personally, I just felt like they just
They weren't
didn't
your
hit
thing.
it. I enjoyed Pac Rim, Boom Boom, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but it wasn't. It didn't feel like it was anything special.
Right.
And I kind of felt that way about Nightmare Alley when I left it.
So what okay, so and I think I said this last week, the issue I had like when it was in the 1940s and you're in the circus, that
Yeah.
part to me was fascinating. It was
Hmm.
interesting. when
Yep.
he went into the city, the architecture is gorgeous. But
Yeah,
we
the Art
already,
Deco.
the Art Deco is absolutely gorgeous. And we've already touched on last week how Del Toro's, the visual style is there. But it's like once he got to that point, the story went,
Yeah.
and I didn't love it after that point. I still haven't written that one up. That is one of the 5 I was supposed to do today. But it was just, it wasn't, it became predictable. It became slow.
It was slow, it was predictable, and it became way less interesting.
Yep.
And it was really hard. He was discombobulated because it was it's almost 2 movies they sandwiched together. And the ending,
you knew that was coming.
Okay, everyone apparently knew but me. And I didn't see it until it was there. I went,
Well,
and
as
then
soon as
it
they
was like,
described it, and then he started becoming the con man and working in the circus, I was like, oh man, eventually it's going to
right.
be him. So I was like, okay.
I know. I apparently I'm dumb, so that's fine.
That's the blonde. You just didn't catch on.
I didn't, and I turned to my friend, and he's like, I saw it halfway through. My friend Gaston. No one fights like Gaston. I'm just putting that out there. But he was like, it is Guillermo del Toro, and I saw this halfway through, and I was like,
which is sad.
And I was like, that's not good. First off, I didn't, because I wasn't. When I watch a movie, I don't try to figure it out. I just kind of try to ride the wave.
Right.
So I do it. So even with horror, like Scott will be like, oh, or someone, they'll figure it out, but they're trying to figure it out, where I don't try.
You don't try.
I like to just go in and
yeah, but part of it too, like you could see the path being very clearly laid out on that one. And I think that became the problem for me for Nightmare Alley, that it was very clear the direction they were taking him.
Yeah. And now looking back, I'm like, oh, it was so clear.
Right.
And he even said in the Q&A, he's like, oh, it's supposed to be clear. I'm like, well, apparently I'm an idiot. That's fine. But I'm perfectly okay with it. I'm like, all right, fine. But it was a little bit weird, because it was just, I was like, the only thing that was weird, first off, looking at Bradley Cooper naked, I was like, whoa, there's a penis.
I mean, hey, but
I was like, that's kind of random. All right.
Well, I'm trying to think. There was a movie that they did that in.
There was a few
in Captain Fantastic.
Yes, and I was like, wow, that was unexpected.
Like, holy crap! But then his line, "It's a penis," and we're like,
who cares? I was like, all right. I mean, it makes sense. He's in the bathtub. I mean,
right? But yeah.
And I felt like Toni Collette was really underused.
She absolutely was.
What did her character have to do with anything? Like, she was just there. And I'm like, why would you put, Toni Collette is someone who I just think is one of the most underrated and best actresses we have. And they just put her in that role. And I'm like, oh, she ain't doing shit. There's no character development. She's just there.
She's there. She's running the scheme. And then she ends up just continuing running the scheme.
Yeah, there was literally nothing happened. And then they brought the Carnies back for that one scene. And she's like, don't do this. And he's like, I'm going to do it. And I'm like, well, all right.
Right.
Like, I mean, I will say Cate Blanchett tore the scenery up. Her look was beautiful. And I still don't understand it. I don't understand if she was real, if that was part of his id, if it was, what does she do for, is she an actual therapist?
Yeah, I think she was, but she was the evil side, I guess, of therapy. Like, she was there because she's feeding him this information, but she was also, before he even got there, collecting the information to use towards her advantage later.
Like, right, but what would be the point? What would be the point of destroying that man?
1940s, a woman doctor. Obviously whatever the scar he created on her, so she had a personal vendetta against him. But at the same time, what else did she have to do and fight to get to that position? 1940s, women weren't doctors. They weren't therapists. They didn't have an office like that.
No, right.
Money like that. So she apparently had been doing this type of stuff for a long time, is what I think of it, at least. And so she was already gathering that stuff and plotting a revenge against the guy that hurt her. or at least the guy that is known for hurting other women.
Right.
So then he came along and he was a perfect tool for it, literally.
Yeah. I didn't understand. Rooney Mara is in that scene and he runs over and then she's gone after Bradley Cooper gets shot. She's just gone. Like, what happened to her?
Oh, she took the
No
money.
one knows. Like, she ran.
She took the money and ran, literally.
But she didn't have any. It was her money.
Yeah, he was stashing all the money that he was bilking from the guy in her safe.
No, Rooney Mara, not Kate Blanchett.
Oh,
like the girl who comes into
yeah, the one that
garden.
comes as his ex with blood.
Yeah.
No, she just left.
Like, I would have liked to. I mean, like, her character was important enough, but yet again, underdeveloped enough.
Yes, because she was just there to move his story along.
She had not. Yeah, it was like she just did whatever he wanted. It was like there was a lot of problems. I don't know. So I liked it.
Before, it's like that. It's that Bechdel test. You know, this one wouldn't have passed because all the women were there to serve his story, and none of them had a conversation with another woman that wasn't about him or another man.
Yeah.
So, which visually it's a great movie, but you got to have a good story with it too.
Yeah, it really is disappointing. I liked it, and I was like, I don't know, I'm torn. And I guess it's good that we're having a conversation about it, because those are the kind of movies that you do want to talk about. I mean, it's like,
it is, and it's the one, we got a lot of slack from a lot of people when our nominations for awards went out, because they're like,
wait, because what are you a member of?
The Detroit
Film Critics Society.
But when our awards went out, like the nominations and stuff, that one and The Power of the Dog and Gucci, people were pissed that we didn't have those nominated for things that they thought that they deserved. First of all, you haven't seen the movie yet. Second of all, just because you like an actor doesn't mean everything they do is golden, or even a director, because we know they don't always have the best of everything every freaking time.
Right.
So, the fact that we've already sat through these movies, we can tell you maybe it's not the best. Yes,
right.
We love Lady Gaga. I love Lady Gaga.
Gaga, ooh la la.
Right. But do I think she deserves Best Actress for that, for Gucci?
I do want to see it. I haven't seen that one yet.
I don't think it's a bad movie. You just have to go in with metered expectations.
Yeah. Well, I think
it's not going to be the best piece ever, but people are like so mad that we didn't give her awards for that. And I'm like, but our awards are still, they're not like the ones that really matter. You know, they're not the ones like they're going to put on a shelf.
Well, right. I mean,
right. So it's, people are just pissed about that. And then Nightmare Alley, they're like, oh, you guys never seen this, or, you have no love for this or whatever. And I'm like, no, or we watched it. So
and that is the thing. It's like, some people like certain things and some people don't. It's like when I vote, in the guilds I'm a part of, I'm very like, very particular. It's like,
I mean, and they have like this whole weighted system, like the most gets so many points and whatever, and then they tally it and whatever. So just because, only one of our things I didn't agree with, but there's 12 of us. We don't all agree with everything. So,
which one didn't you agree with?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. Hold on.
Time is ticking out.
I know, but I've
just waiting.
My site, there's like a review or an article that goes live at least one a day.
I don't know this site.
You don't know my site?
Week99er.com? Tell us more, Rebecca.
God. But that is not where you get the tickets to go to Hamburger Mary's. That's on my Facebook page. If anybody's going to be in Toledo on Wednesday evening.
And if anybody wants to go to Toledo and get me some swag,
right,
I will be nice. That'd be nice. But Becky's gonna collect it for me, like a badger, grabbing everything and building a fort.
Oops, I found a typo on my article. I think it was, well, no, it was the best screenplay adaptation. We put Jane Champion for Power of the Dog. I think, no, I think that might be the only one that I was kind of like, eh. But the rest, yeah, I have no problem with who we voted for as a group.
So what was your best picture picks as a group?
The 5 that were nominated were Belfast, Coda, Cyrano, Don't Look Up, and King Richard.
Okay. I mean, those are all in contention. I hear Belfast is really good. I do want to see King Richard, which is also streaming HBO Max for anyone that cares.
Yeah.
Cyrano is starting to stream or screen around here with Peter's doing a little bit of a round.
That one is that's the what took best picture for our group was Cyrano.
Really?
Yeah.
Which I really have no interest in seeing, which is kind of funny.
So it was on our screening list, and it was one of those that, first of all, we watched it right after West Side Story. So
oh my God, West Side Story, the most boring film put to screen.
Did you watch the new one?
Yes.
Okay, so you're in agreement with me that it's just that, but
I liked the girl who was the lead.
yes.
I mean, okay, first off, here's the problem. The problem is the musical and I wouldn't be friends because we don't like musicals. I liked Ansel. I thought Ansel was fine. I thought he was a little too. I didn't think he had enough of an edge.
I think he was a little too old for it.
Yeah.
You know, some of the other actresses, you know, like her sister-in-law, you know, the one who plays Anita, she's a little, to me, it seems old for the role, but I guess on Broadway, that'd be about the right age group. So, you know.
Yeah, she looked like she was 45.
But she was really good. The girls were fantastic. Very good. So, you know, and I think she got our Best Supporting Actress award from our group, the one that played Anita. But to me, it's like, if you're gonna do it, update it. Like,
yeah,
it just,
well, there was a lot of things I was confused by, and I didn't see the original. Okay. I have a signed poster from the original and the new one, I guess, too. But I don't understand, because I was like, why is half the neighborhood blown up, but yet Rita Moreno is still running a store?
Right.
But the building next to her is half demolished with the store with the door front, but her store is fine, and people are still fighting over this thing that's being torn down. Wouldn't they move? Wouldn't they have to move? Like, there would be, like, you know,
they do.
It was very odd.
But the thing is, too, and I mean, it's very 1950s that, you know, they're all going to a school dance, but yeah, they would have to move. But at the same time, you have these two roving gangs of teenagers that don't have parents in their lives.
Yeah.
So where are they going to go? They don't have anywhere else to be anyhow, but they're all still in high school to go to a dance.
Yeah, like, all of it didn't really make a lot of sense.
But that's the musical.
Why is Bernardo going to the dance when he's clearly old?
Yep.
Like, he has a job. Like, he wouldn't be at the dance. He's out of high school. He wouldn't give a crap what's happening in high school. He'd be trying to pay the bills.
You would think, seeing as the 3 of them were all paying their third of the apartment.
Yeah, even the other girl in high school was still paying her third of the apartment. Like, some of the stuff, it was just weird. And then it was like, you know, it's hard to take things seriously when there's a gang member and they're starting to do pirouettes.
Right.
I just felt like, okay,
so
update the routines. Do, you know, like, make them rough. You can do a fun dance, but if you just make them tough, you know,
yeah,
that can all be updated at this point.
And
you can make it rough and dude-like, and hey, we have knives, we're gonna attack you.
You
can do it choreographed,
like,
but
the sets and the clothing of very much of the 1950s, which I enjoyed that. But did we need something so dark? Because it's oddly slightly darker than the original. And do we need something with so many racial slurs in it today? Does that need to happen now? You know,
I don't. It was
I know the purists are going to say, don't touch the musical. That's, you know, why people love it and blah, 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 or whatever. But at some point, we have to update some of this shit to match current society.
Yeah. In all fairness, I fell asleep, lost about 45 minutes of the movie, and I came back knowing exactly what was going on.
Yeah. And it's longer than the original. I don't know by how
Yeah.
much, but I'm just like,
It was,
it was long. So we watched that and we had about 5 or 10 minutes between movies, and then Cyrano was up next. So we had enough time to run to the bathroom and grab snacks and come back.
mhm.
First 5 minutes of Cyrano, there's a song, and somebody goes, "Oh man, is this another musical?" But it ended up like, we already knew the story of this one too. We all know the story of Cyrano and Roxanne. We know the
Right.
story, but it was so well done and it makes you actually connect with them. And it was like afterwards, we're all like, now that one, that is what we want to see. West
Yeah.
Side Story is going to get a bunch more people there because everybody knows the name.
Well, it's Spielberg. I
It's
mean,
Spielberg. It's a musical classic that everybody loves. It's got, whatever. But Peter Dinklage is so good as Cyrano.
hmm.
So, and it is so fantastic. And if somebody didn't have a headache sitting in the living room, I'd make him watch it tonight.
Ah.
But,
Well, it is interesting when you have that, and I mean, Spielberg is one of my favorite directors. I think,
right.
you know, Ready Player One, I really thought it was probably the best Spielberg movie and the most Spielbergian movie
Right.
he's done in a long, long time. And I love it. It's joined the list of one of my comfort movies that, like, if I'm having a bad day, you put on Ready Player One, you can't be sad.
Right. Especially if you
And then
start looking for all the Easter eggs. I mean, Space
yeah,
Jam New Legacy tried to one up them, but it was
it
all their
didn't
own
work.
properties. So,
Yeah. And this, and so seeing West Side Story after that, I was, because Spielberg has done a lot of movies that have been lately, I mean, The Post was terrible, almost unwatchable. He also did like the BFG, which I didn't like either.
and
He
I love that
did,
book. It's one of my childhood favorite books.
and he's done there was something else he did, and I didn't care for it. It was most of the Oscar baity kind of like, I'm
Yeah.
trying to say something. It's like, I guess for every Jaws and Color Purple and you know Raiders, or all of these movies, something else is like, oh,
There's
okay.
things that you love that draw you to his stuff, but then there's this. I mean, it's not inherently a bad movie, but
No,
it just didn't need to happen.
it'll be forgotten in
It'll probably win
three
awards.
weeks. I don't know. It bombed. The movie bombed.
Has it?
Yeah,
But when did
no
they
one
film
went.
that one? Because that one I think has been on the shelf since before COVID, right?
It might have been. What that was interesting about Nightmare Alley, Guillermo del Toro said that they shot the ending
Mhm.
half first.
Okay.
So if you notice, Bradley Cooper is actually chubbier.
Yeah.
He has like 15 extra pounds on him. And then in the earlier scenes, they had to wait like 6 to 8 months, and they had to have security in all of the carnival sets because
Because
and it
COVID?
was just sitting there because of COVID, and to make sure everything was safe. And then they had to go in and kind of like, but that's one of the reasons why the carnival looks so dingy, was because it
It had
sat
been
there for
sitting
six
there.
months.
But I think that
Yeah,
helped it. But like I said, that part of
yeah,
the movie, the carnies and all of
it
that
was the best.
is
It was so
fascinating.
interesting. I'm like,
Right.
stay there, don't leave, don't leave. And then
Right.
it was like, oh,
And I think at that point too, the girl that he's ends up taking with him, her character had more to work with. Like
yeah,
she just gets lost. And but then again, maybe
totally lost.
she's lost, but like the whole point of her being there is lost. So, you know,
Hmm.
but
It's really yeah, it is interesting. It's FYC season and the awards are coming up, and you listen to, and you hear about it all, and I mean, and we get invited to all. I mean, like this week was like something every day.
oh, you poor dear.
I know, it's really sad. It's a hard life,
Horrible for you.
but it's like,
It is for your garage when you come back with all that swag.
they don't really give us swag at screenings.
Really? Well, I thought they'd give you something maybe.
It's because there's rules where they can't give
Oh, they can't
out
bribe you.
things, and I'm like, I'm open to it, but they really can't.
But they send us some stuff. Actually, this year only Netflix did. So
Really.
yeah, we only got boxes from Netflix.
Wow. What if you got anything new? Any new swag?
No, the only thing I got was that the screenplay from French Dispatch.
Oh,
And it's
oh, you.
hardbound, but that
That's
was it.
nice.
Hmm?
Wow, that's it.
Yep, that's it. I got a couple more DVDs, and they're Amazon Prime ones that don't sound interesting to me.
Yeah, I heard Tender Bar. Tender
Yeah.
Bar.
Oh, we got a book for that one, Tender Bar, and we got the
Yeah,
DVD.
I don't know. Someone said it wasn't. I told you I was gonna get a phone call.
Oh my goodness. What is your ringtone?
That was The Greatest Showman. That's my friend Susan. Uh, but Tender Bar, I heard they were really disappointed they weren't really hitting some of the Critics' Choice Awards and stuff like that. So,
Well, part of it is, especially like I know us, New York and Atlanta have already voted.
hmm
And we didn't get that until this week. We voted the first week of the month. So, I mean, things apparently were a lot later and slower this year than they have been in the past, which I understand
yeah,
shipping delays and other stuff. I understand that I have a review item that I'm supposed to have up by Christmas. It's been crawling across the country since November 28th.
wow.
My deadline was the 5th. So it'll be a New Year's post. But it's one of those things. I understand shipping delays and all of that. So shit happen.
Yeah,
I get it. But at the same time, it's like, if you wanted us to watch the stuff, like now that, I mean, our emails are flooded with links too. You got to get it to us so we actually have time to watch it.
yeah,
You know,
100%.
especially these ones. I mean, Matrix, obviously, Spider-Man and all that. Those are all coming out after we voted.
Yeah, which is really weird because something like The Matrix, you would think possibly could have a chance of just breaking in
Yep.
just because it's an off year. And, if it's really good,
Right.
people will lose it. Like, and that was, you know,
And
that should have, I mean, I get they're like, oh, we don't want spoilers, we don't want this, but
right.
come on.
But at
Like,
the
what a
same
great
time,
opportunity for Keanu too. And the visual effects and effects, I mean, if just that, you
and I mean, the
know.
critics, we're under embargo for stuff anyhow. So
Yeah, I don't get it.
it just seems like some of this stuff, like some of it we should have, at least on this side of it, we should have had access to some of these movies. But, not much I can do. We already cast our votes. So now,
Yeah.
I'm still catching up on some of the articles, and I think I have 12 left, 12 articles to get done for the rest of the year.
Ah. Did
Yeah.
you see Tender Bar?
I
I'm
did
curious.
not. I have they sent the book. No, the book came while we were at the screening days, and then the DVD came last week.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't watched it yet. What did I screen this week? The King's Man.
Oh, how is that?
I really enjoyed it, but I love those
Yay.
movies. But
I love those movies.
it doesn't feel like the original two.
Oh,
It stands on its own though. So, and it's setting it up. It almost feels like they want more in the past.
it's
So
possible.
yeah. So I mean, the story, I won't say any spoilers or anything, but it's like a nice little jaunt through history and major events. And it's
Ooh.
very interesting how they portray it. So I really liked it. And there was a part like we were all kind of laughing and enjoying the movie, and then something happens and everybody in the whole theater just got quiet. And we're like,
Oh,
oh shit. So none of us seen it coming. And my friend in Atlanta, she's like, I didn't even see that coming. And so there's I personally really enjoy it. It's probably in one of my top 10 movies this year.
wow. I'm excited
But
then.
again, there were only 4 of us at the screening. Apparently only the people that really like the series were like, yeah, we'll go screen that one. But again, it came out after our vote, so it's not like we can vote for it.
Well, I mean, that's not one that's necessarily going
No,
to
it's not
be.
one that you would expect to win awards or anything. And then today I screened Rumble, which is an animated monster wrestling show for Paramount Plus. I live a fancy life. Yeah.
Did you leave the house to do that?
No.
Yeah, I would expect.
No, I left. I sat on the couch and did that. And the other night I did screen the first couple episodes of How I Met Your Father.
Oh yeah.
So, which my friends are like, okay, so how is that one? I'm like, well, it's brainless, but it's entertaining. And that's what we liked about the first one. It's that kind of fluff show. The issue I had is, besides who's portraying the mom in 2050, it's Kim Cattrall.
Right. Who I adore, by the way.
Oh, I absolutely do too. But how does Lizzie McGuire grow up to be Samantha?
I can honestly see it though in some level.
I mean, there is enough similarities. So I'm just like, okay.
I don't think that's a bad casting.
No, I don't think it is either, but I think reconciling the characters is where I'm having the issue.
Well, she's not Samantha.
I know she's not. I know she's not. But I had another issue too, because as they're like going through their apartment and the restaurant, and a couple other places, it's basically the two broke girl sets. And I'm like,
oh, really?
yeah, like their apartment's the same one from Two Broke Girls. And I was like,
oh, interesting.
Yeah. And I was like, I know it's partially my mind because it's the architecture, I pick up on that stuff. But, and then the bar is from another well-known show. It's been updated slightly. But you'll have to.
Is it really the same one?
What, their apartment?
Yeah, the set. Is it really the same set?
I think it is, because like the doors, the kitchen, everything's laid out exactly the same. And I was like,
huh. What's the bar from?
I think it's the one from Cheers.
No.
It looks like they took the top part down and it's the same layout. It's got the woodwork around it, the same door that would go to Sam's office, all of it. Like, if it's not the same one, they recreated it so close. And I was like,
that's interesting, because I know the bar was at some point was at a museum here in Los Angeles. And
not the one we went to.
In storage. No, not the one we went to.
No.
It was down the street and they closed it, went out of business. And then it's in storage because the sets from X-Files were also there and they were in storage too. So
if it's not the exact same one, they recreated that space almost identically. So, but that's where, that architecture shit classes that I took all those years kick in. I'm picking out those details. Jason's probably annoyed after all these years. I'm like, oh, look at the Eames furniture and look at that. And he's just like, stop. So, but I mean, you probably experienced the same thing with Scott. So,
yeah,
it's the details, but it's like that apartment. I was like, that's the exact apartment.
Interesting. I'll watch it just for that, because I love it. I'm obsessed with movie sets and stuff.
I know
when they did the Facts of Life live, my first reaction was, God, I need to be on that set. I mean, and my friend was like, I was texting her during the live show and she was like, it's probably already torn down. I'm like,
right.
But,
right.
But I mean, imagine that. I mean, oh my God, it's the set, from Facts of Life. I literally would have passed out and died right there.
Well, I mean, we have found some hidden sets in LA.
There are some that they
What did we find, Mike?
It was the Silence of the Lambs set in the Hollywood Museum, which really was cool. It was really, really fun.
Which still shocks me you've never gone. That you had never been there, but Scott had.
No, I don't think he did he?
Yeah, he said he had been there, and he's like, yeah, I've been there. He's been there a few times with friends, but you two live a very, like, he's out with his friends all the time. You go your own way. And I'm just like, it works for you guys. So whatever. But knowing that you like Silence of the Lamb or the hello here or hello there or hell here from Batman.
Yeah.
That they have the actual sign there and he didn't tell you this. I was like,
I don't think he went through it like recently.
Like we did.
It might have been a long time ago. Yeah. And you never know if it's the actual one. I'm like, the set I know was real, like the way the jail. But it's like you wonder about some of the other stuff. You're like,
yeah, but they started saving and preserving it, and so some of that stuff I can understand being donated. Like,
well, yeah, the Moulin Rouge stuff.
I was just going to say Moulin Rouge, but I know they were moving in a DeLorean or something when we were there, and there's only 3 or 4 of them from the movies that are left.
Yeah, they did a Back to the Future exhibit, and they did something. They have a lot going on. They actually have what did they just do recently? They just did a new exhibit there this week or something like that. They moved in. I haven't been back since we went, but it's fun. It's really worth going to see.
Well,
They
whenever
did
I
it
come
really
back,
good.
we'll have to go see whatever they're showing and then, find more details we missed because I'm
Yeah, it's
sure
at
we
the
missed a lot.
yeah, and what's nice is in the old Max Factor building. So the
Right.
building itself is historic. But I always said I was like, they should just do a place where they take some of these sets. I mean, and you can do it in BFE or something like that, but like really put them back up and let the fans
Right.
come or do pop-ups. You know what I'm saying? Like when Modern Family was for the final season, after it's already shot, take
Mhm.
those sets, recreate it, let fans go in and sit in the couch for a
Right.
month, just do or a week, let them reserve times. And they did that with Schitt's Creek.
Did
When
they?
Schitt's Creek, yeah, when Schitt's Creek was going off the air for the final season, they did a tour and they did it in LA and New York. And we went and you had to reserve a time and they recreated. I don't know if they recreated, they brought in some of the sets. They brought in the some of the bedrooms and they brought in the diner, some of the
Okay.
booths from the diner, and they brought in the sign and Moira's crow out, when she's in the crow. And it was really, really cool.
That stuff is cool.
I had a
It doesn't
ball.
tend to come here to Detroit, obviously.
Right. But I mean, at least, it's like for me, like let's say if when Buffy went off the air and they brought back some of those sets, I would have
Right.
flown somewhere to get a picture on the library. Like, don't even screw with me. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I would
But
have definitely done it.
there's a PR rep that was out in LA. She now lives in Atlanta. She is currently in London for the James Bond experience.
Oh,
And I was like, she also flew out there for Downton Abbey, the first movie. And I was like,
right.
I need to be on that list, please.
But
Like,
I
I
think,
want to go to the next Downton Abbey thing. I mean, I had a
yeah.
really cool experience here because the local place sent me a butler.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was really neat. I
So
saw the
I
picture.
got a butler with a bunch of swag, which oddly enough, the other day I was in the front coat closet and I was like trying to find my winter boots because, snow. But I'm like, where did I get this beautiful checkered umbrella? And then it dawned on me, it's freaking Downton Abbey one. And
That's
I'm
hilarious.
like, why do I have this gorgeous umbrella? I don't use my umbrellas. And it's a big, tall, fancy one. And
Is that for the second movie?
first.
Oh, the first one. What?
Yeah.
Because that
Second
was a
one comes
while ago.
out in March or May.
Hmm.
It's on my schedule on my site. Let me check.
All right.
I just updated my schedule today because we have crap all the way through next May set already. I think it is.
Wow.
Downton Abbey, A New Era comes out March 18th.
Wow.
And there's a
All right.
new Nicolas Cage movie coming out. Oh,
We
today I
just I
also,
just got he was out. I saw there was a Q&A for Pig, his movie Pig on Friday,
yeah,
which I didn't see yet. I heard it was really good.
I have a copy of it. I haven't seen it either. The reason I had started updating the movie release schedule on my site is because they just dropped the trailer and stuff for Fantastic Beasts and the Secret of Dumbledore.
Yes.
So I was looking originally for that, but Nicolas Cage has one coming out next year. If I can spell his name, how about I go with Cage? There we go. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent,
Oh yeah, I heard
where
about
he
that. And he's
plays
playing versions
himself.
of himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I mean, we always say he's in everything anyhow. So
And and the funny thing is, Nick Cage is one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. He's so humble. He's so down there. He's like, I met him on Friday. And he got out of the car and he's like, guys, just calm down, man. I'll sign and take photos with everybody, just if y'all relax. And he was just I'll do everything you got. I mean, his autograph was literally a wavy line, but
oh yeah, it doesn't take him much.
yeah, a super chilled guy and he's such a fun guy. Like, I love him. I mean, like Vampire's Kiss, Con Air. He does everything. He's done cheesy
He's in
action
every
too.
what is it? Is it the SNL sketch? How am I not in that movie? And
Right.
he's in everything, but he always kind of plays him. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of interested to see how this movie's going to be, and that's in April. So
I'm excited about that one. That one should be pretty fun.
right, so that one hit my email today, and I was like, okay, that should be a fun one, because I mean, we have Sonic 2 and
Eh,
Dumbledore and Downton Abbey. I'm excited about because I love those movies.
right.
Batman.
It looks okay.
I don't like Pattinson, so we'll see.
I, you know, um,
I have issues with him portraying it, and it could be just because I don't feel like he's old enough.
it's the hair, I think, that is always throws me in the trailer. I
It
don't like this. I don't like his hair.
There's apparently a clip that was released that he's unmasked and he's got like the eye makeup on and stuff. But to me, he doesn't seem like he's old enough.
Well, I just don't understand. I understand you got to keep bringing IP into you know, but my God, how many origin Batman stories? How many times you tell this story?
How many
It's like,
Spider-Mans do we need?
how many Spider-Mans do we need? How many Batmans do we have? You know, I'm just, some new stories
Right.
with new
Something, but
characters would
rebooting
be
it
really
over.
nice.
Right.
It's over and over. It's like Christopher Nolan had his three.
Right.
Out of those, two were good.
Right.
Then it's like, okay, then Ben Affleck shat the screen with his piece of crap movies.
You already know what
And,
I think of him. So
and God bless him. I don't think it was his fault. I'm not going to bag on the Afflecks. I don't think it was his fault. Or any of the actors in those movies, I don't think it's their fault. I believe it was the direction and the writing, because those
right.
movies were just like it's like watching a movie through a swamp. And you're just like, why am I watching this super dark movie? It should be fun.
Right.
It's a superhero. I don't want Marvel from WB necessarily, but my God, like,
Try.
stop. When your only joke in a movie is delivered by Diane Lane as Superman's mom, there's a fucking issue.
Right.
Sorry, just gonna say it.
But I will say,
when the Batmobile is driving down the street, I'm going on a tangent, and the explosions are going off a millisecond before the car hits them, stop. Like, something is wrong.
They did try to go with the most recent Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey. They did try to go with the more fun, poppy, whatever. I mean, they're not trying to be Marvel. They at least know they're not Marvel. They know they're never going to make Marvel numbers.
But that's incorrect, is actually the truth, because their characters are better than Marvel characters.
They are, but they're not.
It's the creative teams.
Yes.
Birds of Prey, I really liked. I thought Margot Robbie was great. And then when that movie tanked,
I got Bruce like right there.
Oh yeah, when that movie tanked, and it tanked.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked, first off, because I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed her, and I think it really hurt her, because watching the new Suicide Squad, I didn't think that she was invested.
No,
I felt like she was half in, half out.
Also, there's a difference from Birds of Prey that was written by a woman, directed by a woman, and a strong woman. Like, strong women are the focus of that movie. And then you get to the new Suicide Squad, and okay, we're going to dumb her down and sexualize her more, because she was there to move part of the story, but she wasn't able to portray her character that she wrote for herself.
She was a side story in a larger story.
Yeah.
Like, what was the point of her even being there?
So she could blow up a few things, but it didn't have the same feeling, because she wasn't invested, because she didn't write it. She had no say. It was her character that she had written for herself that somebody else took and said, okay, now you're doing this.
Yeah. And I felt like she was in, and then as soon as she stopped saying her line, it felt like she was out of character, and just was like that. And I thought James Gunn did a terrible job. And I don't know if I can blame him, but it's his movie. I thought the whole thing was fucking stupid. It was uninspired. The characters were not good. John Cena has played that same role 3 times now. Mm-hmm. I'm not excited for anything about it, because I'm done. And then giant starfish, like, she jumps into the eye of the starfish to poke it in the back of the brain, with rats eating it. Like,
first of all,
just like, hey, let's do something strange.
Hold her breath that long?
No.
Because I was like, I think we just lost Harley, because she was in there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm sorry, an eye isn't liquid.
No,
I would like to point that out. Like, what the fuck?
Right. It's gooey. It's slime. No, it's very
An eye is solid. I mean, no matter what creature you are, you're not swimming through an eyeball. Like, what is it's just dumb. Dumb. The whole thing was stupid. And I
so.
remember we were watching it and Scott goes, well, that was worse than the first one.
Well, I don't know if that's the case. The first one was pretty bad.
The first one was pretty bad, but there was things in it I liked. And I thought that she, specifically talking about Harley Quinn. Wow, we are just jumping subjects. Specifically talking about Harley Quinn, I thought her character was way better laid out in that one than this one.
Right. But I don't think
I get it. I got her character. Like, I
right,
understood.
but I
This
don't
one
think
was just
that it
weird.
was anywhere as strong as it was in Birds of Prey.
No, I loved Birds
because
of Prey.
she developed and she made sure that she had that story. And I think too, like from a woman watching Birds of Prey, you know, it's the small details, like the fight scene and them handing the hair tie off to the other girl because hair gets in the freaking way. You know, it's those type of things that I don't think a guy would have picked up on. And you don't see it in other fights, you know, and this whole, you know, revenge and going after and blowing shit up that from your ex. Yeah, every woman's wanted to do that.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, yep, all in right there. It was that simple.
I really enjoyed Birds of Prey. I thought it was well. I didn't love the ensemble as much as I liked her.
Right.
I thought she was so well that I thought she was great. I remember seeing it and I thought there's a screening thing here and it's the screen wraps.
Yeah.
It's at the little Taiwan. Is it Taiwan? I'm gonna say it wrong.
I have a friend who was
Korean. Is it Korean?
Is
yeah, they invited me to go and I brought my friend Erin. And I think actually we bought a couple tickets to get her whole family came. And we really had a good time because it was fun because they did the bow, pow on the sides of the wall. Like it was really, they had actual footage done for the wall and then also wrapped to the wall. So you're like wrapped not 360, but at least
like the full 180 visual.
Yeah, the full 180 visual. It was really cool. I saw Kingsman Golden Circle like that too. And I really liked it.
That one, I mean, I love that movie. It's not as good as the first.
No.
But I mean, I absolutely love those movies. And those ones know that they're not going to be taken seriously. I think this new one has more of a serious note to it. So I think that's part of it. But I mean, the death scenes in that, the only other death scene that I love as much is like the heads exploding at the beginning of the first one or the church fight scene.
Yeah.
Is Guardians of the Galaxy when Yondu is just walking and whistling and its arrow is going and killing everybody.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
I love it. And I'm like, there's something wrong with me that this is what I love. But this Kingsman movies, we put them on all the time. They're just they're fantastic. They're, you know, and I'm hoping the new one gets the traction that it should. I mean, it's coming out pretty soon here, 22nd. So, you know, people will be going around the
December.
Holidays. Yeah.
I haven't even seen a trailer out.
The Kingsman? Yeah. 22nd, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Kingsman. Yeah, because the 22nd we have Sing 2, which it's okay. It's for kids. You know, it is what it is. The Kingsman and then the Matrix movie. So
that's terrible because that's the Kingsman, whatever it is.
I know.
And the Matrix are really, they have a lot of overlapping audience. I would never have opened them that way.
That and then the 24th, I don't know if you've had your screening for it or not yet, but Don't Look Up, but that comes on Netflix on the 24th.
We've had several screenings and I've avoided all of them.
Why? It is such
I think Meryl Streep is so overrated and I'm so over her. And I think Leo is the same.
Okay, but the movie is fantastic.
Yeah.
So, although I noticed the graphic that I got from some site has a wrong actor's name on it, so I'll have to fix that. But then the only Christmas release, we have American Underdog with Zachary Levi playing a football star, and Macbeth. So those are your Christmas releases. Oh, and then we have Licorice Pizza, which I'm not seeing.
I heard it was good, but I get it.
I've heard it too, but the subject matter I have issues with, so I'm not seeing it.
I get it.
So, and then we have the Book of Boba Fett coming on Disney Plus on the 29th.
Yeah, that looks really good.
That, and we don't have to leave for that. So I'm okay.
Right.
I mean, we're
Yay.
behind on Hawkeye and we're behind one. I think haven't seen last night's Dexter. I was about to watch it, but then somebody said 15 minutes. So
I watched it. It wasn't the best episode. And I honestly, I could do a whole podcast on Dexter because I was obsessed when Dexter was here shooting in Long Beach and all around the city. I actually went to the set several times to meet Michael C. Hall. And that man, I want to hug him every time I see him. Like he's just awesome. Like he is so nice, so down to earth. He will, if the opportunity presents itself, he'll have a conversation. He was so good as Dexter, and he was so good in 6 Feet Under, and he can bring something. And I think this new series, the Dexter New Blood, again jumping into 500 subjects, it's not amazing, but it's really good.
It is really good. It stands alone.
It stands alone, and it makes me forget about the fucking horrible finale that we had for Dexter. And let me tell you, it was fucking horrible.
I know.
And this makes definitely helping make you up for it because I'm enjoying it.
6 Feet Under, and I read something the other day. They're rebooting that.
I don't like it. To be frank, I think when you have a show that has the best ending in TV history,
I never saw that show, so I should probably watch it.
You know what? Honestly, I don't know. During the pandemic, I was thinking about rewatching it, but I think it was too sad.
Too dark.
But it is one of the most complex character studies. It's so well done, and you can zip through it pretty fast because it's not that many episodes. It's only 4 seasons.
I was just going to check how many seasons it has.
Yeah, it was one of those
5
shows.
Seasons, 63 episodes. Well, I need something else to watch. I mean, when we're in this lull between, once I get through The Matrix, I don't think my next screening is going to be until January, maybe, for Scream. So I've got a good couple weeks to do something, and I'm caught up on everything else. So maybe I'll watch it then. It should be on HBO Max, right?
It should be. It's one of my favorite shows, and I think it's one of those you just can't watch a lot because it's tough.
Okay.
But it's so good, and Michael C. Hall is so good. Peter Krause, so good. Francis Conroy blows, like, it's just amazing. So the whole cast is really awesome, to be frank.
There's another reboot that was announced this week, and I'm tentatively excited.
Which is
Firefly.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, Disney Plus. They acquired the rights to it in 2018. So,
well, because they have Fox.
Well,
so
right.
Any Fox show they have the rights to.
Right.
Including Buffy.
They're theoretically, or what people are speculating actually, is that they're going to be going back into Nathan Fillion's character's backstory.
It's one of those shows.
But it's going to be Disney Plus. They have the budget to do it. I mean, look what they're doing with Mandalorian and all of that. They have the budget to do these things. As long as they put it out in order that Fox didn't do, there's a chance.
I'm over this whole thing with mining IP. Create your new IP. Create something new. I don't start messing around. And first off, I don't think you can do it without Nathan Fillion. He is Mel, and I don't want to see anybody else in that role. I don't want to see an Alden Emmerich try to do it.
No,
someone's going to be doing a Nathan Fillion impersonation and being like, "Oh, I did it myself." Well, no, you didn't. You're going to do Nathan Fillion impersonation. I'd rather just see Nathan Fillion do it. It's too late. Let it go. Unless you're going to do, you could do something. Honestly, why can't they just do one since the last movie and just continue it? I know we lost a couple characters from the last movie.
Yes, we did.
I would watch that.
which that's the speculation. We don't know at this point. This was like the article came out a few days ago. It just popped up. I think I saw something on TikTok and I went searching because I was like, how many times have they talked about bringing it
They've
back?
talked about it every year.
They have, and fans have wanted it to come back. So now it's actually been greenlit. So
I think they should let it go. Honestly, let it stand for those.
we'll
Those
see.
episodes are all good.
Yes.
Let it stand. Just let it stand. Let it
Yes.
be what it is.
But Mike the
I don't.
fanboy doesn't talk for all the fans, unfortunately.
I know, but I don't want to see something. It just the Veronica Mars reboot. You know what I'm saying? I It wasn't terrible, but you killed a major character in the ending, and it just really made me pissed.
So
And
can
it
I
made a lot
confess
of the
something to you?
fandom pissed. And you never seen Veronica Mars.
No, and I did that
Put that
campaign
on
for
your
the movie for you, and I
I
never
know you
watched it
did.
either.
I was really happy with that campaign. But
I
I
never
would
watched it.
suggest you should, actually that's another show to check out
Okay.
because it's really fun.
Yeah, and it's
And
Kristen Bell,
she's
right?
a yeah, she's great. And that's the best role she's ever done. She's just so sassy and fun, and it's really a good little mystery. And both seasons 1 and 2 are excellent. Season 3 is like a B plus, but still fun. But they had to do they were doing something for the network to try to keep the show on. But the last season on Hulu, it just didn't.
It
I
didn't.
enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. It just
Okay,
wasn't. It just wasn't.
but on
The
that
ending
note, what
really
about
is a.
the Gilmore Girls when they bring it back?
And I'm going to say the same thing about Gilmore Girls.
Same with their reboot thing. It lost something.
It lost something because you can't get everybody together. First off,
They
Ed
did pretty
Harriman
good.
passed.
They did
They
pretty good
did.
for
Ed
Gilmore
Harriman
Girls.
passed. There was no Sookie in the whole show except for the ending.
Wow.
I didn't like the way Rory ended up. Like she kind of ew. Um, and then she's having affairs, and it was like, what
She
the
lost her
f,
moral
man.
compass.
And the ending was just like, saw that coming a mile away, and I didn't enjoy it. And it was, it, I don't know. I didn't hate it, but rewatching, I binged Gilmore Girls over the pandemic,
Of course.
and watching it all in order, you can see the drop off in quality
Yeah.
from the series to those TV movies. And it wasn't the actor's fault. It was really in the writing and directing.
And I think also at some point, like you're saying with Firefly, it's been so long. It'd been 10 years
Yeah.
since the show went off for Gilmore Girls. And then it was, it picked up. Okay. But at 10 years, you think their lives would have evolved a little. Just a little.
Well,
A little more.
yeah, a little more. I mean, the mom, I enjoyed her the most in the reboot. I thought that they really did a good job of capturing her
Mm-hmm.
and her changes, and without her husband and that and this and that. I just felt like it didn't capture the magic. And I don't know if it was because everyone was working on Miss Maisel,
Right.
because Amy Sherman Palladino and the Palladinos in general, they write every character that talks the same.
Mm-hmm.
Every character talks the same. That's their thing. And it's kind of annoying to people. And it's kind of annoying to me, even though I love Miss Maisel. It's one of my favorite shows on TV right now.
I have
Rachel
the poster next to
Brosnahan,
me.
right? Rachel Brosnahan is awesome. That whole ensemble is awesome.
Oh, it really is.
I mean, I've rewatched it a couple times. Can't wait for season 4 to come out next year. Finally, it feels like forever. And the first 3 seasons of that show have been awesome. I'm expecting season 4 to be the same, but I don't. Again, I really want it to end. I don't want them to reboot Maisel when it's done either, because I
Right.
really want that to end and don't come back. So I think there's certain shows you can do and certain shows you shouldn't do. Sex in the City, obviously going back to the first thing we talked about, I didn't have a problem with it. There was some parts that
It's
were
okay.
extremely cringy. Cynthia Nixon,
Hmm.
her character. Now, I know that was on purpose, and I get what they were trying to do. I'm not sure Miranda would be that clueless. But I don't know.
No, I mean, they're kind of playing into the, okay, it's been all these years and she's a mommy now, even though he's a teen. So the mommy brain is okay.
It was just an awkward, it was extremely, some of the writing was, I'm sorry, I just cut you off. Some of the writing was extremely awkward. When she was talking about stepping on her son's condom, I was like, okay, was that just what? And then no
Shock
one needs
factor.
to see the kid having sex.
No,
Like, ew, first off, ew. Second off, ew. And it was just all sorts of
I
wrong.
think that it was a disservice to her character because the reason that she was so good in the original is she was the hard ass. She was the not
Yeah.
taking shit, the smart one, and they are dumbing her down.
Yeah, because she's not that, she's a smart woman. That's actually was one of my complaints about the last movie, when they're in Abu Dhabi.
Mhm.
Samantha would not have a purse full of condoms and drop all these. It was like they made them a caricatures,
Mhm.
and she runs her own PR agency. She's not stupid. Please
Right.
don't make her Chris Pratt from Parks and Rec. Like, come on now. She's
Right.
not like, I mean, I get that she likes to have sex, she's sexually free, but she's not like
No.
a teenage frat boy with, you know what I mean? It was just, I was like, what the F? No
Yeah.
wonder she didn't want to come back.
Well, and she's got this, this show where she's playing the mother.
Well, look, and I respect her quite a bit for just drawing a boundary.
Well, yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I mean,
I mean, and her and
makes sense.
Sarah Jessica Parker, there were rumors all throughout the run of that show, and it was public. It was like, oh Lord, like that was not a,
Not a
and
good
I
working situation.
actually, I did not like the fact, I did not believe in any respect that Samantha wouldn't speak to Carrie because she fired her as her publicist.
No,
She was never her publicist through any run of the show. She helped her with a couple of things just to be nice. She was
there
never her
was
publicist.
there was something in the original series, and I saw a meme of it or something, and she said something like, "Are you mad at me?" And she said, "No, I'll never be that petty." Something like that. So
Right.
it's just
It,
out of character. You
it was
know,
just out of character. All they didn't have to have them not be friends. They could have just had her go move to London. That's all that had to happen.
yep,
I mean, and then, I did like the fact that they acknowledged that Samantha sent the flowers. Real Samantha would have flown in and been like, honey,
right.
but I
But
get it. There's
even
logistical
Charlotte,
things.
it's they're pushing it to the, oh, okay, you have two teenage daughters now. You've lightened up a little bit. Let's be real.
Yeah. I mean, and
Especially,
sometimes watch, the way she did her face, like, oh honey, I love Kristen. She's awesome. She's great in that role. I mean,
right.
she's so good. I think that it's kind of fun that they're playing with the fact that, she doesn't want to get old, and I get it. But I'm sometimes watching, it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed it. I gotta say, they were both solid B episodes, and I really thought it could have been a train wreck, and it wasn't. It wasn't
No,
bad.
but again, it's a little too slow.
Yeah.
Wednesday night, part of the event, we're actually watching the third episode before it
Oh,
airs.
fun.
So I'll be able to let you know. Well, you'll see it by the time we talk, hopefully Friday.
And take
But
anything with the logo on it, because
uh-huh.
I want everything.
Anything with a logo, and you'll see it behind me next week.
No, get doubles. You can get more than one. You
Well,
are
actually,
Becky
I can bring as
Fixel.
many people as I want. The problem is it's a Wednesday night in
Yeah.
Toledo. So
Yeah.
it's an hour 15 each way.
Oh, easy.
Yeah. So I at first I was hemming and hawing because I was like, that's 2 hours away. And then I mapped it and I'm like, oh, it's an hour 15. It's not that bad. It's like driving to my parents.
Right.
So, it's not that bad. So as long as we
But
don't.
just tell them, listen, I have a friend. He's in California.
I
He
have a
needs some
friend who works in
swag.
LA who has no connections whatsoever there, that he couldn't get the stuff there because
I
we're doing
can't, apparently.
apparently, and you make fun of Detroit all the time. They're doing the event in Toledo and Grand Rapids. I know.
Ooh,
And I'm guessing they're doing it wherever there's a Hamburger Mary's.
I guess so,
I
but
mean, there's
it's not
probably going to
here.
be St. Louis too. That was my first Hamburger Mary's. And my friend and I were traveling and we just asked at the hotel where we could get food because we were hungry. The guy's like,
Right.
go around the corner, there's a burger place. No idea what
There
we
you
walked
go.
into. This is the best thing ever. My
That's
friend,
awesome.
mortified. I thought it was
Ah,
the best thing ever. Because so, I'm like,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
I'll freaking go back there, and watch a drag show and play
Right. Why
bingo.
not?
Absolutely. I'll have some beautiful footage on YouTube later this week, I'm sure.
That's
So,
great. But I unfortunately we're gonna have to end our talk today after
okay,
we
fine.
really just went on tangent upon tangent upon tangent
Yeah.
for an hour and a half. Um,
Yeah, an hour and a
but
half.
I do thank y'all for joining us because I could go on for another hour and a half, but I'm getting blown up on my phone and I do have to go.
Don't
And
blow
we
away in
will
the storm.
eventually get to these John Hughes movies, but
Yes.
I do think it's fun to just kind of riff a little bit about life
We can talk
and
about
some
John
of the.
Hughes after the holidays.
Yeah, that's true because I do want to talk. I think next time we'll talk about some of our favorite Christmas movies in
Okay.
general. I
Yeah,
just think it'd be
general.
fun
Not making me
in
watch
general.
one.
Nah, fuck it.
I will tell the story of why I will not watch that one, but we are not watching that one.
Which one?
Never mind. You're blonde. Just keep going. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening and back next Tuesday. And we will have 2 weeks off. So then we will come back the week after New Year's.
Woohoo! For all of you actually
Watching and listening. So
that's true.
all right. See you
Talk to you
later, everyone.
soon.
Bye.